Hello and welcome to Cutter Farms. We're back with another episode of UMRV Upper Mississippi River Valley, and we have been moving the clock forward. We finished up all of the corn silage that we were doing out here, chopping the corn, and I've got the manure spreader going. This is actually the first round that it's made on its own, going back and getting some slurry and bringing it back up to the farm there, or out to the field there, I should say. My goodness. And it seems to be going well. It didn't get stuck. I didn't have to interact with it at all. So auto drive is still working from last time. That's awesome. And I'm bringing the equipment back up here to the farm. We got our trucks all washed up last night as well. We've got just a little bit of chaff here, and I'm remembering that we've got these bushes to take care of. So let's do that real quick. Everybody in the comments, or most people in the comments at least, seem to think that if I came in here and planted some grass here where we are, that I would be able to get rid of these bushes. So we're going to try that here real quick. I'm going to just come right through here with the grass. It does seem to be getting rid of the bushes just fine. And then if we find our paint texture here again, man, I think it's this lighter one. Yeah, just like that. We can come clean this all back up. That doesn't look right. Let me see if there's another one here. Maybe it's this one? No, that's too dark. Maybe it's this. Oh, there we go. It's this one for the main part. All right, that'll be fine. We can handle a couple of different textures there. And then if I just scroll through here, I think it's this one is my edging texture. Let's get that a little bit rounded. I think that's good. It's always hard to tell with these edges sometimes. Maybe I need to go just a little bit wider of a brush here. Something like that. Yeah, that's looking a lot better. I really appreciate everybody who commented on the last video and helped me sort through that. Helped out a lot. And I don't think we've got any space. We're full up on chaff and full up on silage here in the harvest store. So I'm going to just take this semi and trailer right around here. And I'm going to be putting this in the shed here where we dumped all the grain. Somebody commented on the video as well that I should have just gotten an ag bag, silage bagger to put this all in. That would have been an awesome idea. I can't believe I didn't even think about it. I am using JMF Modding's ag bag on the Edgewater series, although I modded it to accept crops rather than do silage from chaff. And so I'd have to get the original mod downloaded again that I didn't modify and tossed on here. So we might clean this up at some point and put it in an ag bag. But for the time being, at least, we've got it all in the shed here. We've got most of it in a couple of trailers here. I feel like we're going to be good to go. I don't need these big bulk trailers for anything else right now. And I've got this huge pile here that we're going to have to probably, I don't know, lease a wheel loader or something to pick this all up. I know I've got, man, it's got to be a couple 100,000 liters here, which is going to be a pain to scoop out. Maybe we'll get some augers or something. I don't even know how we're going to get that out of here. But that's a problem for another day. Today, we need to keep getting all of our equipment out of the field here. So let me run back out here to the field. We'll get the forage harvester brought up here and see where we're at. All right, we got this thing cruising now. It's got all kinds of great noises and stuff as you bounce around here in the field. I'm loving this thing. And I'm also still loving that we've got our steering wheel all set up. That's been working well for us. Got our flashers on and everything. We're going to have to get this thing washed up. It got a mite dirty here chopping that field. And it looks like at some point we ran out of silage additive there. I wasn't paying as close of attention to that, but like I said before, I don't think it really matters since we're using the harvestor here. I don't think we're getting any extra yield out of that. I think the yield from the silage additive comes when you're putting it into a bunk and letting the normal game mechanics take over. So I'm going to pull on up here to the fuel barrel. We need to get this thing topped off. It's almost out of fuel. And we went ahead and got it all washed up while we were at it. So this thing is, I think, going to live in this other shed over here if it'll fit through the fence, which it should with the wheels. I think it's going to go right down here next to where we were storing all of our hay equipment, or I guess we're still storing some of it down there. As I don't think this is going to fit into that commodity shed we've got right there with these big duals. It's going to be a lot easier for us to just sneak it into here, I think. Oh, I do have the mower in there as well, though. Well, I'm not sure. I wonder if I could actually park it inside the bale shed for the time being. This is a little bit silly, but it might work out. Or there might be a collider here. Nope, nothing's going to stop me. We'll have to move this thing somewhere a little bit easier later, but we can set the head down just like so. This is going to be as good a spot as any to keep it out of the elements for just a little while until we reorganize some of our equipment. So with all of that out of the way, let's check in here for a moment and see how we're doing with the old manure spreader. It looks like it's doing all right. I've gotten quite a ways done on this field. We've taken most of these paths. I've already gotten 2 passes on them. It's a double wide pass, believe it or not. So we're making really good progress, and this is only the second tank of slurry that we're working our way through, if I'm not mistaken. We pop in here and just take a quick look at the precision farming screen. You can see our nitrogen levels are starting to come up here in all these areas that we've run. This is looking real good. We'll be able to get done with this field in no time. We're probably already, what, a third of the way done, if not a little bit more. So doing good, doing good. I'm trying to remember how to get the individual readings up for a field rather than just the main precision farming thing. There we go. So this field is now at 99%. I'm not sure what's that first one. Nitrogen is a little sliver off for some reason. I don't know why, but feels more like a rounding error than anything to me. It's really this field 7 that's dragging our precision farming score down here on us. That one is the field that we just bought, and I suppose field 23 over here is not looking so hot either. We're really getting dinged on that second category there, which I don't remember what that is. How do I... second category, pH values. So the pH values on this field 55 are not looking good according to precision farming. So we'll have to deal with that here soon. Although maybe it's not the pH. Maybe it's the nitrogen is completely zeroed out and weed control is off here. I think maybe that's more what we're looking at here. So we'll have to figure that out a little bit better though as we get over there. See if I can get the total score brought back up. And just watching here as we go, it looks like we're doing awesome on our slurry. I don't think we really need to do anything with this. I'm going to just let this job continue to run in the background. And I'm going to jump back up here into the farm. We're going to see if I can get this trailer disconnected. And we're going to get this bigger semi, I think, moved over to our grain trailer today. Mostly because I want to kind of play around with it a little bit. I've got the new version of this truck now all set up, which should have some improved sounds, which I can certainly hear. Those are sounding pretty snazzy. And there's a few other updates that have been made to this truck. This is the Kenworth 990 by Northwest Mods and Edits. And he was kind enough to once again send me an updated version with my logo on the door after he made all the tweaks to it. So I wanted to get this thing out in the field and kind of just to see how it worked. Rather, I should say, get this thing out on the road and see how it sounds when we get it all fired up. It's got quite the awesome engine noises here. And I don't know exactly which field we're going to start out with just yet. I'm still trying to get all of our equipment all readied up here. And so I'm going to just put this thing right up here by the gate and I believe that marks the last little bit of prep work that we needed to do to get ready to move the clock forward. I'm going to move us forward into October so that we can start harvesting some of our crops here, hopefully diving into these soybeans right out of the gate. But I guess we'll see what the weather brings as we move the clock forward. So let's get going on that, and I'll check back in here in October. All right, we've moved ourselves forward here into October, and because we just ticked by, I always like to pay down a little bit of our loan whenever we can. We are still quite high at the moment, but we're doing pretty good. September was a heavy month with leasing the forage harvester and everything and getting that going. We had a few different costs, but that's all right. Everything running according to plan here. And we're going to get this thing fired up. The soybeans should be ready now, so I'm looking forward to hopping out here into the field and getting started. So I'm going to get this thing moving out here. I think the slurry spreaders continued to go. I don't know quite how far we've gotten with that, but we'll look in just a second. I think what we'll do is I'm going to drive this all the way down to that new field we just purchased. It is our largest field, and it'll give us a good indication of just how long harvest is going to take here. We've got just the one combine here with I think we've only got a 30-foot head here. Yeah, the 630 FHD, so that should be, what, I want to say that's 12 row? I can't recall exactly, but it should do all right. And I'm driving down here. I'm almost positive our field entrance is down this road. We haven't actually been out in this field at all. We bought it with the crops already on there, and so we're going to have to see if we can figure this out. This is quite the narrow road. I'm really hoping we don't get any traffic on the dirt roads here. I think DJ Modding only put traffic on the blacktops, so we're gonna find out, that's for sure. But I want to say my entrance is right up here ahead on this road, and that we're not going to have to circle around to the other road here, which would be nice. I see the large culvert right here. Oh yeah, we've got the driveway coming up right here on the right. I thought we'd come in cab here and just check how hard this would be to navigate. These headers are always so obstructive, but I think we've got it. Good deal. And because this field is so ginormous, we are going to be leveraging some course play here on this field. So I'm going to go ahead and jump in here and create a quick course play job. Now, this is such a easy field to do with course play. It's a nice, big, straight field. We're going to just go ahead and take some of my standard settings here and see how it goes. It looks like it wants to generate the up-down rows east and west. I guess it thinks this is the longest edge up here. I would have thought that this would have been the longest side, but maybe not. Either way, I think the curve over on this side is going to be better for course play turning and such, so I'm going to take it. We're not going to fight with it. We're going to just let it do its thing. I am going to, though, open this up and I'm trying to think. I'm going to make sure our straw swathing is turned off here. I don't really want soybean straw, I don't think. In the version that I've got right now, at least, I can't use that for TMR or anything, so we might as well just not have it on at all. And I'm going to go ahead and just let this guy do his thing. Start off on the first waypoint here. Should be good to go. Looking quite good, so we'll let this guy start doing his thing, and we gotta run back up here to the farm. We'll get the grain cart and a semi brought out here and all set up. All right, well, I've got the grain cart out here. I guess we might as well chase this combine down to the end, make sure that he's not getting full on our watch. I don't know if he's gonna make it all the way around the field before needing to be emptied out here. So we might as well just get down there and see what we can do to keep him moving. And then we'll run back up and get the semi. I think we'll have plenty of capacity in this grain cart, though, to kind of make sure we're keeping this combine moving until we get time to run back up for the semi. I'm not too worried about it. Although if I'm not mistaken, this grain cart has more capacity than the semi-trailer. I can't recall now. It's been a minute since we harvested last, and I believe I've got a nice grassy strip here on the other side of this soybean hill that we're going to be able to follow the combine down on, and that's going to let me get it unloaded here. Turn my HUD back on. I don't know when that got disabled. At some point, I may consider combining some of these fields since we've got a nice clear shot here between the farm for all of these. But for now, we're happy with it the way it is. And I need to get my cruise control adjusted here. I think I've got vehicle speed sync. There we go. Looking good. And just like that, we're getting our beans into the tractor. It's always fun doing the first pass on the first field of the harvest season here, the regular harvest season at least. I'm gonna slow down a little bit going down this hill. I feel like the grain cart is kind of giving me a push here, but we've pretty well got the combine emptied at this point, so I'll probably just let him get down here to the end. I guess I could follow him down to the end, and then once he makes that turn, it'd be a good time to maybe jump the fence here, run back up to the farm, and get that semi brought out here. I can see the slurry spreader moving in the distance there down the road. Keep going on that cornfield. It's so nice to have that fully automated at this point and be able to just kind of set it and forget it. I mean, one less job for us to do, especially a job with such a narrow working width. I think I'd go crazy if I was trying to do the whole thing manually. I know I did a lot of that on our Farmville series, and that was a lot of work, and those fields were very tiny, so I'm happy to let the worker take over and handle some of that. I am going to shut this guy down here, though. We're going to let that combine keep moving here, and we're going to jump the creek here and run up to the farm and bring that semi out here real quick. All right, we're back up here. I've got the truck, and we're going to go ahead and see if I can get this thing going down the road here. Mirror's not the best. I don't think we hit anything. And just listen to those engine noises. Loving it. Yikes. Ignore the signs, ignore the car. This thing also sounds great when we change gears here and the RPMs move. I'm loving it. Now, I think there's a button I can push for the Jake brake noises. There we go. That's pretty cool. I think it's just a sound noise, though. I don't think there's actually any Jake braking effect when you activate that, which is all right. It's more of just a thing to do from I guess, a roleplay immersion perspective. Either way, the sounds are just epic on this truck now. I'm really enjoying it. But we are treating this truck a little bit rough here today. I'm going a little bit fast, and we're getting all into the weeds here. But hopefully, I'm not quite going to make this turn, am I? I was going to say, hopefully I can get turned back around here and all set up to be unloaded into. I guess I could have waited for the combine to come by and make a second pass here for us, but my goal is to park this right over here, and we'll get everything unloaded into it as we go. And that'll leave us pointed in the right direction to get back out here and up to the farm. So I'm going to shut this thing down here and let it set. Looks like the combine is coming around here. Going to start the second pass. And I'm already at 40% full. Not too shabby considering we had it emptied out there on the other corner. I'm not entirely sure it's going to make it up to the corner that the grain cart is parked at right now, though. So what we might do is jog over there and get the grain cart back up to this other corner where we unloaded from last time. I think that's going to be the best bet here. And it looks like we got up here just in time. The combine's coming around. And we're going to try and do this one first person as well. I've still got that annoying issue with the mirrors in this particular tractor though, unfortunately. But we've got plenty of speed here. Better drop my gears down a little bit. And he's bringing the auger out, so I'll get sped up here. Oh my goodness, we've made a mess. I guess the only downside I've got is I can't see what gear I'm in when we're like this. It just says forward on the in-cab display there. But if I turn my HUD back on, I've definitely got gears. I'm in 13th gear. And dropping that down, I'm not seeing anything change on the HUD here. So unfortunately, we'll have to keep the HUD on for this. Part of my goal is to eventually get to a situation where I could have a set of equipment and I could completely turn off the HUDs and go for a fully immersive driving experience where I'm only using in-game gauges and such to do all of my driving. But unfortunately, many vehicles and mods and such just don't have things set up very well for that. Looks like I've about got him empty. We've got 52% of our hopper full on the grain cart here. 560 bushels almost. We're getting a little bit far away here. I have a tendency to drift away in this tractor for some reason. I'm going to just grab the last little bits here out of the combine, and then we're going to take off here, see if we can get out in front of him, make it down here to where the semi's at. And I can't remember how much the semi-trailer is going to hold, but I want to say it's got to be 800-900 bushels, somewhere just short of 1,000 maybe. So I don't think we're going to fill up the semi just yet, but we're getting there. And I certainly won't need to unload this guy again until he makes his way around. So we're going to just let him do his thing and see if we can get down here to the other end of the field. I hate unloading on the headlands when it's all on a hill like this and we're making curves and such. We've got that nice straight edge over there on the end by the cornfield that seems to be working out pretty well for us. Now, I could be going a little bit faster than this with the tractor and the tracks and everything, but even with that, I'm getting quite the bounce in the force feedback on my steering wheel, which is kind of a cool experience. I still haven't gotten used to it, and yeah, I'm worried that if I went much faster, I'd actually start to feel a little uncomfortable in my wrist. It has a tendency to jerk back and forth a little bit on me, so I am going to unload into the semi-trailer here just so I can get a gauge for how much it's going to hold. I'm at 55% with 500 and almost 82 bushels here in the grain cart, so I'm kind of curious to see what I end up with putting it into the semi-trailer here. Now, this semi-trailer does have 2 hoppers in it, which is pretty cool. So if I fill up this front hopper, I'll get a really good indication of how big this thing is. There we go. And so that's just shy of 500. So yeah, we're going to get just shy of 1,000 in here total, I believe, which is pretty cool. So we might as well empty the rest of this out into the trailer here. I'm trying to see if I can adjust the nozzle on this a bit, but we ran out of beans before I figured out which way to move the mouse. We've got the combine coming around here for its 3rd headland pass. I think I set it to 3, which should work out pretty well for us on this field, I believe. And so what I'm going to do is go ahead and just unload on the way back up this field to the corner. I'm sure it's got the capacity to get all the way to the corner there, but if I can get it unloaded here on this pass, maybe we'll get enough to fill up that combine again, or the semi again, excuse me, and send that on its way back up to the farm. But I'm seriously doubting it, just looking at where the hopper is right now. I don't think we're quite gonna make it. All right, well, I made it to the end of the field there. We only made it back with about 190 bushels, so I figured we'd let it take the little headland pass up here by the trees, and then we'd try and meet it on its way down here, follow it down the easy side of the field here again, and see if we could finish topping this thing off. I do want to get that semi moved up to the farm, and I think I'm going to need, I don't know, like 420 bushels maybe to finish topping it off. So we're going to follow the combine around here until we get enough to get going here, get those beans brought up to the farm. I just want to make sure everything's going to kind of work out with that. Looks like I'm just ahead of the combine a smidge here. And yeah, I'd have to say so far so good. Everything's working as expected. No issues getting started on the first harvest here of the season. I'll be curious to see how well this combine does on the up-down rows. Since it's soybeans, I don't expect too many problems. I think it's going to run just fine. I think we're going to end up being able to get to the end row without having to unload while cutting in or anything crazy like that, which if we were doing corn, I'm not sure we could say. Although we're getting pretty poor yields on this field in general right now. In fact, when we get to the end row here, I'll jump over to the combine and just take a look here. Actually, we can do that right now. I can just bring up the yield map here for precision farming. You can see that this field, we're getting kind of mediocre yields through most of it, although our environmental score is starting to come up here. Yeah, it's just not great because we didn't have the pH down in this field. And I don't know, I think it's probably got some tillage problems too that we might have to address. Let me double check that. I haven't actually spent a lot of time looking at this field in general. No, tillage and everything looks good. It's just the pH levels that were a little bit meh, if I recall here. And then the soil types are kind of mediocre in some spots of the field. We do have some decent soil though in the middle of the field, so I'm not too worried about it. But I did only end up with 300 bushels out of this pass so far. So we are going to come up a little bit short still for filling up that semi. We're going to have to get a little bit more in the grain cart here when we get to the end. I'm going to let this guy do his thing though. I'm not going to try and unload on these slightly curvy and hilly rows. We'll catch him up on the other headland pass. Now, since we are going to very quickly run right into doing the up-down rows as soon as this guy gets to the other headland, I decided this is a straight enough spot right here to try and unload a little bit more as we come up on that headland, because otherwise I'm going to run out of opportunities to get the beans unloaded here. So we might as well make a go of it. Oh, if we could get our speed working here. I've got the gears all out of whack. We're still adjusting where I've got the buttons for different things in my new setup, and I keep pushing the wrong buttons when I try to change my gears up and down. We're not using a keyboard as much anymore for things. I've got everything moved into one of my stream decks here, and that seems to work better when my brain can remember to reach out to where those buttons are now, instead of trying to fumble with finding the keyboard, which is now on the other side of my desk. And it looks like I've got the 400 and some bushels that I was looking for now in the grain cart. Hopefully this is enough to send this thing on its way. If not, we'll deal with that at the appropriate time. It should be close enough though, because I think we had like 80 bushels that we already put into the back hopper here. So I'm not going to be too picky if we're a couple bushels off. It's not going to be the end of the world. And I'm really curious to see... Oh, that's right. He's not going to try and cut all the way up through this field from this end. He's going to go up there a little bit and cut in somewhere else. Oh, we did top off the semi though, which is awesome. So I'm going to just pull this grain cart forward a little bit here and shut it down while we head on up to the farm with our first load of beans. Here we go. Oh, still loving these sounds. Now this time I'm going to try and use a slightly more responsible gear as we pull out onto the road here. There we go. Well, now we're getting the hang of it. we jump in cab here, we've got a nice interior view still on this semi. Oh, we geared up way too fast for this hill. All right, well, now we're cruising. All right, let's see if this Jake brake works here. Not really hearing it. Oh, well. All right, let's see if I can turn into the gate here without hitting anything. I need the mod that lets you stick your head out the window like an ATS, so I can see what's going on back there. But I managed to get into the yard without smacking into anything, so I'm feeling pretty proud of myself at the moment. We'll take this right around here into the dumping area here. I don't even know what you call this, but we're gonna unload right here at the leg. Let's see if I can get in here without too many issues. There we go. Get our truck untarped. Start dumping some beans. I do wish they'd add the ability to unload both hoppers at the same time, like I would probably do in real life. I like having the separate compartments for when we are hauling two different crops potentially up to the elevator, but being able to dump them both out at the same time, especially if it's the same crop, would be awesome. However, we've got that all done. It went right into the silo, no problems. Let's go ahead and get this guy run back up to the field here. I'm kind of curious to see how that combine is getting on with cutting through the middle of the field. And I can see the slurry spreader back there just starting to back into the pits. So it's still going to town on spread the slurry out in that field. We'll have to check in on that here in a minute or two as well. All right, I'm getting some good speed here because I do want to hear what that Jake brake sounds like. So we're getting all the way revved up, and there it is. Very nice. Now I got to drop down a bunch of gears to see if we can get this thing up the hill and around this turn. And I'm gonna park it right back in over where we had it. I'm pretty sure I pulled that grain cart up a bit after we got done unloading, so I think this is gonna be pretty good. We're gonna get it all shut down here, and we better hop into this grain cart and check in on the... Oh, actually, I can see from here that the combine isn't full yet. We'll hop on up here and see how he's doing. 47%, not too bad. We didn't cut through the middle like I had thought for some random reason. We're on lands mode here. So, well, I'm sure it cut through a couple of lands in, but we're getting a good chunk knocked off the end of this field here. We've got the headlands off, so this is going to go pretty quick now. We just take a quick look at the map here. You can see we've got, I mean, obviously the bulk of the field left, but this is going to go quick now that we've got the headlands off. And up here, we're digging into spreading our nitrogen. If I bring up the map here, we've gotten a good chunk of these done. It looks like I've got one more pass on each of these land modes to do before we start in on the headlands. So that's pretty exciting. And as you can see, our AI worker is getting ready to bring another load out there and keep trucking on things. If I look here, barn B, I believe that is, has 500,000 liters of slurry still, where barn A's got 100,000 more, 600,000 liters of slurry. And we're even starting to build up a little bit of slurry in that new barn with all of the calves in it here still. I'm keeping my eye on this hay. I think we're using up like 10,000 liters of hay per day here on these, maybe even a little bit more. It looks like, though, the grass is indeed ready to cut out here. This is the nice thicker grass. So I think this is actually ready to go now. Our other field didn't look quite so well. If we run out here real quick, the back pasture I think still has another month to go. So this will probably need to go up until November before we can cut it because it's pretty splotchy here. Just looking at the calendar, I believe grass can pretty much be cut year round. So as long as I don't have snow on the ground, we'll be able to jump back in here in November and cut this field. So yeah, that means next episode, while we're keeping up with harvest and manure slurry stuff going on here, we should probably get the mower going and start cutting some hay, which will be good because that means I can start using up a bit more of the silage and everything we've got in the harvest stores and get the rest of this chaff actually processed and out of this barn. I would love to have everything up off of the ground before we're all done for the year here as well. We'll see how well that goes. I don't know. But yeah, things have come together quite nicely here on the farm, and I think this is going to be a great place to wrap up today's episode. Hopefully you enjoyed the episode. If you have, hit that like button. Helps me out a lot. That's all for today. Kedrick out. And there's a few other updates. This is the... Oops. It's a 630 FHD. Oh my goodness, we're taking out sides. Yeah, there's not really much way around that. Okay. Cut!